In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 NBA games happening on October 23, 2024, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 NBA games after fully watching this video. One thing before we start, if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Indiana Pacers versus Detroit Pistons. The NBA season is officially back, kicking off with an intriguing matchup within the Central Division between the Indiana Pacers and the Detroit Pistons. Last season, the Pacers earned the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference and had a thrilling playoff run, making it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. On their journey, they knocked off the Milwaukee Bucks and New York Knicks, but their impressive streak ended with a loss to the eventual champions, the Boston Celtics. Meanwhile, the Pistons endured a tough campaign, finishing with the worst record in the league after managing to secure only 14 wins throughout the season. During the regular season, Indiana dominated Detroit, sweeping all 4 of their matchups. In those 4 meetings last year, the Pacers defeated the Pistons by 23, 8, 14, and 19 points, meaning that each victory easily surpassed the current 5.5-point spread for this game. Indiana enters the 2024-2025 season with much of the same roster intact. Their entire starting 5 from last season's playoff push returns, and the offensive charge will once again be led by Tyrese Haliburton and Pascal Siakam. This continuity gives the Pacers a significant advantage, especially when it comes to chemistry and cohesion on the court. On the other hand, the Pistons made some adjustments to their roster, but not enough to suggest they've completely solved the problems that plagued them last year. A key concern remains whether Cade Cunningham can elevate his game and emerge as the leader of a successful team. Thus far, he hasn't consistently shown that ability. Facing off against a well-rounded player like Haliburton presents a tough challenge for Cunningham, as Haliburton's length, quickness, and defensive abilities make him a difficult matchup. Cunningham, who often relies on his strength to outmuscle smaller guards, will have a harder time imposing his will against a defender like Haliburton. Adding to Detroit's challenges, the Pistons are still integrating new pieces into their rotation. Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley, and Tobias Harris will all need to find their roles under the guidance of new head coach JB Bickerstaff. It typically takes time for players and coaches to build chemistry, and this early in the season, Detroit may struggle to operate as a cohesive unit. Meanwhile, Indiana, with its established core and proven system, holds a clear advantage. The Pacers dominated every matchup against the Pistons last year, and there's little reason to believe the outcome will be any different in this game. While Detroit is likely to improve upon last season's abysmal 14-win performance, it's unlikely they'll get their first victory here. Adjusting to a new system under Bickerstaff and learning how to play together will take time, especially on both ends of the floor. In contrast, Indiana's experienced lineup and continuity from last season give them a distinct edge, both in terms of preparation and execution. The Pacers' ability to pick up where they left off should be evident. Although neither the Pacers nor the Pistons made sweeping changes to their rosters over the offseason, the lack of significant upgrades benefits Indiana much more. The Pacers' familiarity with each other and their fast-paced, high-scoring offense worked perfectly against Detroit last year. Across their 4 meetings, Indiana's average margin of victory was 16 points. The Pistons still lack the offensive firepower to keep up with the Pacers' up-tempo style, and unless Detroit finds new ways to generate points, they will likely struggle again in this contest. Tyrese Haliburton and Pascal Siakam both appear poised to have all-star caliber seasons, building on the momentum from last year's deep playoff run. Given the manageable spread, taking the Pacers to win and cover is a solid pick. Indiana's experience, offensive consistency, and chemistry make them the clear favorite in this matchup. So the Indiana Pacers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Pacers were one of the league's top offensive teams last season, and there is every reason to believe they will maintain that standard in 2024-2025. They rank second in both pace and offensive efficiency, and with their entire starting lineup returning, they are well positioned to continue their fast, high-scoring play style. While the Pistons have added some offensive depth, particularly with improved three-point shooting, they are still finding their identity as a team. Cade Cunningham aims to elevate his game and establish himself as a top-tier guard, but that transition takes time, and it's uncertain whether he'll hit the ground running in this season opener. Both Indiana and Detroit struggled defensively last season, ranking 24th and 25th in defensive efficiency, respectively. This makes for a likely high-scoring affair. The Pacers play with one of the fastest tempos in the NBA, and the Pistons aren't far behind, finishing 9th in pace last season. In their 5 meetings last year, the over hit 4 times, with the only under occurring during a game where both teams were missing key starters due to injuries. When the Pacers visited Detroit last season, they lit up the scoreboard, scoring 131 and 122 points in 2 separate games. With their entire core back in action, Indiana should have no trouble maintaining that offensive rhythm. Halliburton, Siakam, and Miles Turner will spearhead the Pacers' attack, creating a difficult challenge for Detroit's defense, which will likely be disjointed as the Pistons continue to integrate new players into their rotation. Indiana has perfected its winning formula: play fast, shoot plenty of threes, and focus on offensive efficiency rather than defensive excellence. Halliburton's ability to push the pace, beat defenders off the dribble, and create opportunities for shooters makes the Pacers a dangerous team offensively. Last season, Halliburton averaged 10.9 assists per game, demonstrating his ability to orchestrate the offense and find open teammates. Detroit's new additions, Harris, Beasley, and Hardaway, will each look to establish themselves in the offense, but it often takes time for new players to gel, especially under a new coach. Teams need reps to develop defensive rotations and improve communication, and Detroit will likely be disorganized on that front during their season opener. Meanwhile, the Pacers' fast pace and efficient offense should overwhelm the Pistons. Considering both teams' tendency to play at a high tempo and their defensive struggles, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Cleveland Cavaliers versus Toronto Raptors. In a highly anticipated Eastern Conference matchup, the Cleveland Cavaliers will take on the Toronto Raptors on October 22nd at the Scotiabank Arena. The Cavaliers are aiming to build on last season's performance, where they managed to win a playoff series before being eliminated in the conference semifinals by the Boston Celtics in 5 games. Meanwhile, the Raptors are looking to bounce back after a disappointing season that saw them miss the postseason altogether. Both teams enter the game dealing with injuries. The Cavaliers will be without offseason acquisition Max Strus, while the Raptors will miss several key players, including R.J. Barrett, Kelly Olynyk, and Bruce Brown. Given the Raptors' struggles last season and their current injury woes, it's no surprise that Cleveland is favored on the road. Although it could be a tightly contested season opener, the absence of multiple key rotation players for Toronto is likely to tip the scales in Cleveland's favor. The Raptors are currently in a rebuilding phase and have struggled to find their footing, particularly with so many young players still developing. Injuries only add to their challenges, making it hard to imagine them competing at full strength. In contrast, the Cavaliers bring a well-rounded and talented core led by Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Isaac Okoro, and Jarrett Allen. Several players on this roster, including Allen and Karis LeVert, are familiar with Coach Kenny Atkinson's system from their time in Brooklyn, which provides an additional edge. The opening betting line had Cleveland favored by 3.5 points, and it hasn't shifted much, an indication that the market reflects the Cavs' strength over a depleted Raptors squad. Although laying points on a road team this early in the season can be risky, the Raptors' ongoing rebuilding efforts and significant injuries make it difficult to see them being competitive. Losing rotation players like Barrett and Brown is a major blow for a team that already lacks high-level talent. With little depth and limited star power, the Raptors are in a tough spot. On paper, the Cavaliers appear well-positioned to take advantage and should have little trouble dispatching Toronto. Cleveland also won 2 out of 3 games against the Raptors last season, and this trend is likely to continue here. So the Cleveland Cavaliers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Both teams are expected to focus heavily on offense, as neither is known for having a strong defensive identity. The Cavaliers and Raptors are projected to field lineups that emphasize scoring rather than stopping opponents, which should result in a high-scoring affair. With 2 young rosters that prefer to play at a fast pace, expect both teams to push the ball up the floor and generate plenty of scoring opportunities. Given these dynamics, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Brooklyn Nets versus Atlanta Hawks. Two teams from the Eastern Conference that failed to qualify for the playoffs last season are set to face off as they open the 2024-2025 NBA season. The Brooklyn Nets hit the road to challenge the Atlanta Hawks in a matchup taking place Wednesday night in Atlanta, often nicknamed Atlanta for its vibrant sports and entertainment scene. Last season, the Nets ended with a disappointing 32-50 record, placing them 11th in the Eastern Conference and outside the postseason picture. Meanwhile, the Hawks wrapped up their 2023-2024 campaign with a 36-46 record, finishing in 10th place. Although Atlanta advanced to the play-in tournament, their journey was short-lived as they fell 131-116 to the Chicago Bulls in the September 10th matchup. Historically, the Hawks hold an edge over the Nets in their all-time regular season series, leading 105-91. However, Brooklyn had the upper hand last season, winning 3 out of 4 meetings, including a 114-102 home victory in their most recent encounter on March 2, 2024. Both teams enter the new season facing an uphill battle to re-establish themselves as legitimate contenders in the Eastern Conference playoff race. Over the offseason, each team underwent significant changes, parting ways with key players. The Nets traded Bridges, while the Hawks moved on from DeJounte Murray, leaving both squads with question marks heading into the new season. Despite these uncertainties, Atlanta has a clear advantage with Trae Young still leading the offense. Young's ability to control the pace and create opportunities will be crucial, and the Hawks can also rely on a collection of solid secondary scorers, including Jalen Johnson, DeAndre Hunter, Clint Capela, and Bogdan Bogdanovic. Given these factors, the betting line favoring Atlanta might seem steep for the season opener, but it reflects the expectations for this matchup. The Hawks are justifiably the favorites, especially with home court advantage. Brooklyn appears to be in a rebuilding phase, especially after dealing away Bridges, one of their top scorers. As a result, it's hard to see the Nets finding their rhythm so early in the season, particularly on the road. On the other hand, Trae Young will likely be motivated to make a strong statement following an inconsistent showing last season. I expect him to deliver a standout performance, setting the tone for the Hawks season. All signs point to Atlanta using their deeper, more experienced roster to exploit Brooklyn's shortcomings, so the Atlanta Hawks to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Offensively, Atlanta enters the new season with a proven ability to score in bunches. Last season, the Hawks averaged 118 points per game, ranking 5th in the NBA. They also excel at pushing the pace, averaging 102 possessions per contest, which was the 5th highest in the league. While their offense is potent, Atlanta's defense remains a weakness, something that has carried over from previous seasons. On the other side, Brooklyn struggled offensively last year, finishing 23rd in the league in offensive efficiency by scoring just 110 points per 100 possessions. However, the Nets still have enough veteran presence to take advantage of Atlanta's defensive lapses, especially in an up-tempo game. Recent matchups between these two teams suggest that high-scoring affairs could become a trend. 3 of their 4 meetings last season featured at least 221 total points. Given both teams' tendencies, Atlanta's fast-paced style and questionable defense, combined with Brooklyn's veteran pieces that can find scoring opportunities, the total for this game feels set too low at 221 points. I expect a high-scoring contest to open the season, with both teams pushing the pace and finding ways to score. Therefore, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.